Cool.
Cool.
So, Alan, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it. I know you are just as, if not, maybe a little bit more passionate about house hacking than I am. So, I really appreciate your time today. So, let's get to it. So,
Thanks.
why house hacking?
Yeah, so I've been looking into ever since when the pandemic started. I read the classic Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I wanted to get into real estate with, my long-term goal being that how I was going to get, to where I wanted to be financially was through real estate investing. So I was looking for, what is a good way to where I don't need a bunch of money down, a low risk, easy way to get into the investment space. As well as finding out with house hacking that there's a lot of tax benefits, as well as lowering your monthly liability through things like rent. So those are the couple reasons why. I was able to use what I had on hand with my reserves and my savings to get this started. Where if I had to do a full-on rental or any other type of option, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. So, when did you do this? When did you close on the property?
Yeah, we actually closed March 1st, and I actually ended up finally getting in there April 1st because I had some tenants in there that were getting out of there.
Okay, awesome. So, you just want to give me a quick 1 minute recap of how the process went for you?
Yeah. So I decided, let's say, it was like the second week of January, I think it was. I decided, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start looking. And the first thing I did was actually, I was talking to some, mentors of mine, what to do. It turns out that the people I really needed in for this process were already there. So the first people I called was my buddy Cole from Movement Bank. He was my mortgage loan officer. And then through him, a personal connection and who I met beforehand, but was my realtor, Paul. So the first thing I did was, I got the troops together, went out for lunch, and I said, hey, this is the game plan. I'm going to do house hacking in particular. I vetted these people ahead of time and we're friends with both of these people, got them together for that. Started working with Paul, started the pre-approval with Paul on getting me on the MLS, started looking at properties. And then Cole, we got the pre-approval ready to go. We looked at one property and it was, not within our pre-approval range. And then Paul came to me with this actually off-market deal through his network, helping me find this as well.
Okay. Okay, good. So, what was the property?
Yeah, so property was a little over half-acre duplex in South Charlotte. It is in what we call the Oakhurst neighborhood of Charlotte, kind of an up-and-coming area that's already having a lot of things with condos being flipped over and new commercial shopping as well in the area.
Okay, awesome. So, why did you choose that area? Because I know that you were living in, I think it was Noda you were living in.
Yeah, I was living in like an already turned area of Charlotte. Charlotte right now is having huge amounts of growth, people moving in. It's having a multiple different paths of progress right now. So when I actually met with Paul originally, he gave me a whole map of Charlotte, and it was blocked off in different areas, such as, hey, if you can find a place in this, a house in this area, that'd be great, but it's overpriced right now. These are not the greatest areas to live in, but they're upcoming paths of progress. Really giving me the low down and dirty with this map of here's where we should look and here's where we shouldn't look, right? Like I said, this was an off-market deal that he came through with, and this was in an area where, like I said, so there were some commercial properties coming up that you could tell people were moving into the area, that younger people were moving there, but there was also new commercial shopping centers moving in just south of me as well. And then the last part is I'm just off of one of the main arteries, highways off of in Charlotte called 74, which is not an interstate, but a kind of a large freeway there. And they're actually, the community city plans, what I looked into and researched, that they're actually adding in a light rail going down that way, which could improve the values as well.
Good, appreciation. Awesome.
Yeah, and so these were kind of the main reasons why we were looking and also did our comps and realized that this is an amazing opportunity to pounce on right away.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good for you. That's awesome. So, how did you find all the pieces of the puzzle? Your lenders, your insurance, your agent, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm a salesman by day. I'm selling kind of HRPO services. With that job, I do a lot of networking, and I was meeting with a lot of people and initially didn't understand maybe how I might be able to help them or them help me. But when I started looking in the real estate space, I already realized I had everyone I needed. So, Cole
Just
being
through your day job networking.
yeah, exactly. But I always make sure that I was talking to anyone and everyone and really putting myself out there because I knew that down the road I would want to do real estate, but I didn't realize that in 2021 it was going to happen this quickly. I made the decision pretty quickly that this is the time to do it. I decided in January I was going to look for a house, and then in March I had the property already. So it was a lot quicker than I thought.
Good.
But yeah, so really everyone was through that. I had, let's say my loan officer, my realtor, both through them. He found the deal off market through his network, and then my inspector, as well as insurance, kind of all through that networking group. And it's really reliable to have a group like that to go back to.
Okay, so what kind of financing did you use for this deal?
Yeah, we used FHA, 3.5% down. And the property was at 305 purchase price. So I ended up putting a little over 10 grand down for the
Awesome. You're controlling over 300 grand with $10,000.
Yeah, being able to leverage, and use that amount with, and I had 20 grand saved up. So that left me another 10 grand to do capital improvements, to have a rainy day fund, things like that, which is really going to help put me in the forefront. Because there's a lot of expenses I didn't really, in the last month or two, I've spent a lot of money on things I didn't think I would spend money on.
Yeah.
But I needed. So
good stuff. So what's your, in terms of the numbers, what is your mortgage payment?
Yeah, mortgage payment right now is coming out to $1,673 per month.
Good stuff. What are you renting the other side for?
We're actually just on the market today. Finally got all the improvements done, and we're put on the market for $1,400. We feel confident we can get for that amount.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom each side?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, good. So are you going to be renting out the other bedroom or just keeping it for yourself?
Haven't decided so much as yet. I have, some connections here with the local rugby club, and so there's a guy I used to live with. I'm working with a couple people on that. What's nice is if I end up getting for $1,400, I can be very picky on who I want to live with me. It is a smaller space on my side.
Yeah, of course.
I'm also looking into some options with travel nursing. I'm about 7 minutes away from the local hospital, so I can look at getting some maybe short-term, not Airbnb, but maybe month-long stays, things of that nature.
Oh, good stuff. That's awesome. So you'll be cash flowing by hundreds of dollars each month.
Yeah. I ended up,
that's amazing.
I'm going from, exactly. Sorry about that. There was a lag there. But yeah, I'm going to go from basically paying almost $800 a month now to, maybe paying, at the worst end, paying only $200 a month and saving that $500 towards CapEx, or, maybe making $200 to $300, and then saving that $700 to $800 as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. I love a whole lot better than renting, isn't it?
Oh yeah. You start doing the math. I decided in January, because I was doing math on how much I spent in rent the year before, and it was almost $10,000 with everything. And I was like, I have nothing to show for it. So, I realized this is the time to do that. It was now.
Oh, fantastic. So what is, if you could restart the whole process again, I mean, if you were to do anything, what would you do differently?
So I started reading the book on house hacking from Bigger Pockets. That was by Craig Turlop. My biggest regret was not reading that ahead of time, because there were things. Yeah, I'm still have a couple of chapters left. It went from reading it every day to using it as a manual, hitting certain sections as I was going through the process. But because you assume, especially in a hot market like Charlotte, that it's going to be 6 months to find a property. It's going to take a while. And then, the second house I looked at was this off market deal, and then, boom, ready to go. So
perfect. Good stuff. So what would you, I guess now as a semi-experienced real estate investor, what would you tell people who are curious about starting a career in real estate investing, specifically house hacking? I mean, what would you, any kind of guidance?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first is do what I didn't do. Read that book first. It's going to give you the exact mindset. It's going to help you figure out who you need on your team. My biggest piece of advice is you don't have to know everything, but you have to know people who know what you don't, and you
Yeah.
have to know how to vet and find those people. So I feel like I was extremely lucky with that section of having good people on my team. A is that, but B, it's also, look at your long term. A lot of people who are looking to buy a house, they max out what they think they can afford, and they have their saddled this huge debt payment, and they make it a liability.
Yeah.
If you're willing to be creative, and there's a lot of ways to do it, not to get into the different ways of house hacking, but there's many options. Everyone from people with families and kids to young single adults like me who can house hack. And it's a really great way to get yourself started in the real estate game.
Perfect. That's great advice. I second that. So again, Alan, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you got a very busy day, so I'm sure we'll catch up in the near future.
100%. Thanks so much.